Hey guys, welcome back. This is Terry, and today I'm going to tell you how I failed 2 of my motorcycle endorsement classes. So let's get real, shall we? My first test, written part, I aced it 100%, went through. However, in that first, this is so funny. This is one of the things about being a woman biker I hate. Men think you don't know anything. So I'm going to start with when we were in the classroom setting, and they have you watching these videos. You have to identify certain situations. Well, in this one segment, this guy sitting across from me was one of the segments. It was, how many pedestrians do you see? I forget how many there were, but I counted them. I had them correct. And this guy across from me that knew everything there was to know about everything gave a number, and the instructor said, anyone else? I said, yeah, I saw blah blah blah. The guy across from the table looked at me and said, you are such a dumb blonde. There were only blah blah blah. This has been so many years ago, I can't remember what the total was. I said, whatever. So the guy looks at the instructor and he says, can you rewind that so we can look at it again? So the instructor looks at him kind of like, okay, rewinds it, stops it at the frame. The guy gets out of his chair and he walks up and he looks and he counts and he says, see, I told you there's only that many. I said, what about the kid who's looking from behind that car? He didn't talk to me the rest of the class, which was just fine with me. So I aced the written part. It's common sense. We get out on the track. I had never ridden a dirt bike, a motorcycle. I had ridden horses and jet skis and Sea-Doos and an elephant. But I'd never been on a motorcycle by myself. I'd ridden with my dad, had ridden with friends, but I'd never ridden by myself. The instructor in this class, I'm not going to mention his name. We ended up becoming friends, but he was pretty arrogant. And it was almost as if it was another bias against women. I noticed his attitude. I was the only woman in the class. His attitude with the men was much different than his attitude was with me. He had me so nervous. And for those of you that know me, that's hard to do. That's really hard to make me nervous. You really can't rattle my chain. I raised 8 freaking parasitic bipeds. Come on, give me a break here. After that, not much scares a person. So we get out on the course. And these are like cheesy little bikes. I don't know what they even were. I mean, they were falling apart and little bitty things that you could probably pick up one-handed, which kind of makes it all the more embarrassing. Well, I'm already intimidated. This guy was very intimidating. And being the only woman in a class of men in their 50s that were trying to prove something, I guess that they weren't in their 50s, they had this attitude against me. And not all guys are like that. I have found the majority are not like that. But these guys, I don't know what their problem was. They didn't like a woman riding. And now that I think about it, I don't think they liked me being in the class because I was watching them make mistakes. Just an idea. So I don't really remember the entire class. But I'll give you a few of the little shortcuts. The one that scared me most was the figure 8. Had that down. And they have you practice your quick stops, your turns, using your turn signal, all of those things. Here's the one that is what got me to fail the class. The instructor says, now we're going to learn how to go over an obstacle. He looks at me. If you're an instructor, don't do this. Don't make your students freak out. They're already nervous enough. You should reassure them. So he looks at me and he says, Terry, I don't know if you're going to be able to do this. Generally, when people tell me, I don't think you can do this, I do it. And I go above and beyond doing it. I think that's my dad. So he puts a 2x4 in the lane. And we're supposed to go over this 2x4. Who in the world can't go over a 2x4? Me. In that class. No. I mean, my nerves were so on edge. These guys were being jerks, first of all. And the instructor, I don't know what it was, but generally I don't let people, they don't intimidate me. I mean, you know, 1%ers, old-time bikers, new bikers, police, these people don't intimidate me. I'm not really sure why I was so intimidated in that setting. So when we have to go over this 2x4, you know, you get up to it and then you throttle back a little bit to give you a little more extra power to get over whatever the obstacle is. Cannot believe I'm going to tell you guys this. And I don't know what happened. I wish I had pictures. No, I'm glad I don't. Who can't go over a 2x4? Me. And it was pretty embarrassing. I think what happened is I got so nervous with this instructor. I mean, he's dogging everything. You know, which an instructor should, but I think they should be a little bit more encouraging and not so condescending to all the students, everyone that they are instructing. So there's the 2x4 and I gotta get this little piece of crap bike over it. I made it halfway and I freaked out. Yeah. So to make matters worse, the instructor comes over and looks at me and says, I had never seen anyone in my however many years of experience do that before. That's what he said. I'm glad I had sunglasses on because I started to cry. Generally, when I start to cry, it's because I'm so angry. Well, one, I was upset that he was so condescending. Another one, I was upset because I couldn't get across the stupid 2x4. Another thing I was upset is because I was already nervous. Failed that sucker? Right there. Oh, and then I dropped the bike and I broke off the shifter peg. Yeah. I don't know, maybe that made him mad. For the next, I don't know how many years, I rode with a permit. I always was with someone that was endorsed, mostly, because of that one experience with that instructor. Then I got overconfident and decided to take another course or another class with the course where you get your endorsement at the end, blah, blah, blah. That was offered at another course here in Oregon. The course is a little bit bigger. Here's my second problem. I took my heritage on a course that's meant for miniature motorcycles. Yeah. You can't take a heritage, at least someone that's still fearful from being in the classes before. Even though I'd ridden for years up to that point, the class was still freaking me out because one, I have my heritage there, which was huge compared to the itty bitty bikes on the itty bitty course. I still had that memory of that old class in my mind. I was 1 point away from passing it. I thought, I am never going to be able to get my endorsement. And you know, that first class where the instructor was so derogatory, he really undermined my confidence. And it has stuck with me. And in a way, I'm glad it has stuck with me because I don't want to get too overconfident and do something really stupid. But he undermined my basic confidence and my ability to ride, at least to get endorsed. Third time's a charm. I mean, I was pretty severely psychologically scarred from that first class. This third class had an instructor that was older. He didn't have anything to prove. He wanted the best for the students in the class. And I went up and I told him, I said, look, I'm afraid. This is what's happened. This is how I feel. And he really put me at ease. We get out on the course, on the little bitty circus bikes that are, pieces flying off here and there. Way to go, Team Oregon. Went through the course, perfect score. But I didn't know that because there are so many things they have you do. You've got the figure eight, and you've got to do it and whatever and not hit a cone. And then you've got the sharp turns and the quick stops. Things that in your mind you're thinking, oh my gosh, did I get this right? Because you can't look down. You can't, you've got to look at your next curve, where you're going and what, everything, what's going on. And so I had this innate fear from the first two classes that there was absolutely no way I was going to pass that test. I was sweating bullets at that point. At the end of the class, the instructor called everyone into the trailer. They all left shaking their heads. I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody has failed this course. And they had. Everyone in that class had failed the course. So I get in there, last one, and my heart was just really racing. I was freaking out. And I said, when's the next class? He said, you don't need one. You're the only one that passed the class this time. Take this paper down to the DMV. They will give you your endorsement right there. You had a perfect score. Can you repeat that, please? Terry, you had a perfect score. It took me a bit to comprehend that because of the first two situations. But I passed it. I went down to DMV with my little certificate that I have in a box here somewhere, and I got my endorsement that day. So I rode illegally for years. It took me that long to get over a jerk, arrogant class to begin with, who not only the instructor but the other students didn't like seeing a woman ride. I don't know if it was their age. There were no younger kids in there. Ooh, Lexi just told me I have a package. Everyone in the first class was older than I was, and they were all looking at me. They were all men, and they didn't like me being in that class, and the instructors didn't like me being in that class. Second one, I take the Heritage on a course, like I said, made for circus bikes. And the third one, it just goes to show you how different instructors can undermine your ability, and how the right instructor can build your confidence to a level that you can achieve what you want to achieve. I was so excited and I was so proud that day. Having that that endorsement on my driver's license is really a source of pride for me because of everything I went through to get that. And it also sort of makes me not want to move out of the state because I'll have to take a test again. And still, after that first situation, I'm still afraid. It's crazy, isn't it, the way those things happen? So there's the story of third time is a charm. I'm telling you, don't give up. Don't let people get in the way of your passion, your dreams, Whether it's riding a motorcycle, driving a car, flying an airplane, or being a wonderful chef, a great photographer, practice makes perfect, and the right instructor is the golden ticket. When they believe in you, you believe in yourself. If you guys enjoyed this at all, if you've gotten any value, entertainment, knowledge, whatever, laugh, I would really appreciate it if you would hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment. How did your classes go? When you guys are all gonna tell me you had no problems getting your endorsement. I already know that. Don't make me feel bad. But leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, all that really cool stuff. I love you guys. I wish you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, as I'm going to try for mine. Until next time, peace, and I will see you soon.